with it, you just feel like you should have banned it again. So it's a tough situation.
And all I really want to see from Misfits is more playmaking, more options around the early game, because I think that G2 as a team, one way in which you can take advantage of them is by snowballing an early kind of advantage. We saw it at Rift Rivals, we saw it at MSI, and I feel like Misfits is the kind of team that could take advantage of that, especially if Maxlor and Power of Evil pick something like that Zac Syndra combo.
The crowd still, they do not like Cho'Gath. Expect he knows. It's actually been fairly successful today, at least.
It has been. It's been a good pick for Expect. He's 4-0 on that pick in playoffs. I think the Parisian crowd just does not like it because of their solo queue experiences.
Could be, but also the NAR ban makes it easier for Cho'Gath to be successful here. If we are still looking at other champions like Trundle that can still be used against it, Misfits steal away the Alistar, put it on Ignar's side.
But now we're looking at an early lock of the Tom Kench from G2. They want to make sure that Mithy gets something comfortable, but Misfits want comfort as well. They're still putting Power of Evil onto the Orianna.
Now I wonder if we get Xayah for Sven, because he doesn't want to play Sivir against Alistar. That is one of the hard counters against Sivir. Misfits Gaming otherwise might just grab Xayah on their own side and have that Alistar-Xayah lane.
Well, Sivir's been working out so well for Sven. G2 finished phase 1 by locking in Morgana, a champion that's been banned several times. Misfits did not go for the Syndra, which is what we were maybe hoping for. You can see Power of Evil, the man on your screen right now, needs to have a bigger impact. His shockwaves have been more like meh waves this series, and they've not hurt G2 at all.
And I really want to see Power of Evil step up. He was one of the hyped up players coming into this final. So far, he has not been able to live up to said expectations. Whereas Perksy's having a phenomenal series. And with champions like the Cassio, the LeBlanc, Syndra, all still available, G2 are once again setting him and Sven up for success.
And Misfits here are now trying to match the super late game scaling that G2 have been showing us before with the big tanks in the front. That gets Sejuani from Maxwell. He's been actually saving his jungle pick for second phase the other 2 games. Now he wants this early on so it doesn't get banned away.
Great shot there of the venue as we're in phase 2 bans. Corki taken away by Misfits. G2 Esports got the options available to them. Misfits as well going to have to prioritize where they go with their bans. It's going to be a Jax taken off the table.
I mean, G2 right now identifying some of the things we mentioned. Alphari not being able to be on a damage dealer up in the top lane. They're just gonna remove even more options for him. Trundle is still available that he could play, but then I think Misfits needs to ban LeBlanc, because otherwise Perks can pick that again against the Orianna and then also make Trundle's life horrible.
Step 1, ban LeBlanc. So did G2 respond by banning Trundle themselves? If they've already got Jax and Gnar taken off the table?
Can definitely do it. I think it would have be a fine ban from them. So G2 reading the situation correctly after Misfits tried to make a little bit of a play here in the draft.
In terms of first pick, they could just lock in their AD carry, give Alphari the counter pick. Xayah is something that is still a big comfort for Hansama, but they could choose themselves to take the Sivir and go more towards that team fighting playstyle.
Oh, Renekton here is a damage dealer up in the top lane. It does require Power of Evil, Maxlor to play around the lane, which is something they can definitely do here with the double melee champions with a lot of chain CC from Sejuani Renekton. In the mid lane though, Cassiopeia, Syndra are still there as picks against this Orianna. It's not like Perks is running out of options.
All right, so what does Maxlor run in the jungle? There's some early game power there in Renekton. There's some late game safety. Thank you very much on the Sejuani as I'm blinded here. It is just 80 carry left for the option, and it's going to be the double ADCs for G2. Kog'Maw, a little bit of a surprise to me.
Oh! He does it in the finals! The Draven for Hansama. For those that don't know, he was famous for this in his Challenger debut. This was his legendary pick from solo queue. He made a name for it in Challenger. He brought it out a few times throughout this year. And now, when their backs are against the wall, when he has an Alistar in his lane against a Kog'Maw, he goes back to comfort and he goes, this is it.
And now we know why he didn't just take the Xayah and sit with that AD carry again. He was saving this Draven for the very last pick. Morgana's Black Shield is here to try and stop the Alistar from getting onto Sven and letting that Draven then hammer away onto him. But Hansama, it is, as you said, it's pure comfort. but it's something new.
And
still.
it's the same for Alfari with that Renekton, a style of champion that suits him, arguably where he's better and he's more available to the team at taking some control. So, backs against the wall. For the first time ever, it would be a 3-0 if Misfits cannot make this Renekton Draven work out.
My biggest concern for Misfits is the fact that Maxwell is on Sejuani. Not the strongest in terms of early pressure. Once you get level 6, yes, you can set up a few ganks, but he might be forced to stay mid lane and try and keep Power of Evil safe during a Lucian who's going to look to bully you in the face.
We're loading up into game 3, loading up into what could be the last battle of the night here in Paris. To round out the summer split, to crown our champion. Will it be G2 eSports or will we see more games?
Match 3.
Bias be damned, I want another game. Misfits, let's see what you can do.
They picked Draven quick.
Of course they did. Unfortunately, Hans Summer's not using the Shoutcaster skin, though I will accept the Soul Reaver. Paris is going crazy for Hans Summer's Draven. Okay, let's talk about this early game impact. Let's talk about what this Renekton and Draven can do and what Misfits have to do to unlock a win here in the finals.
Well, I think Maxwell should play around top lane, and I actually think even at level 3 he can be impactful because there is a stun from Renekton into the stun from Sejuani, and we saw the burst yesterday when H2K played that combo with Renekton and Sejuani. I would love to see that try and shut down Cho'Gath early. Power of Evil will have to try and fend for himself, and when you have a Draven, he is not here to just bully the lane completely. He actually just wants to farm. He wants to just rush a BT, get a ton of AD, and then start fighting.
I wonder if he will rush a BT, because I've seen a variation of builds from a bunch of different Dravens. Sometimes you see the early Ghost Blade. I've seen a few even go for the Dusk Blade of Drakthar for that additional bit of burst. Like, there are so many variations on whether we want that early lethality. Do you still want the crit in your build? It all depends on where Hans Summer is trying to build that lead.
I'm going to say yes to the crit, no to the lethality against the Cho'Gath Gragas.
I agree. But we saw one-shot Rengar last game.
I mean, we did. That's very true. But I think going for early lifesteal on Draven is super, super good because your traits are basically just auto-attack traits against each other. So you will always take some damage in return. If you get some lifesteal early on, you can just keep trading with the enemy AD carry over and over and over. And eventually you will start dealing more damage than him in the pure 1v1.
Now let's see how well Hans Summer performs. The last time he played it was a 2-0 win in spring, back on 7.3. The EU LCS stats team got me covered with that one as Perks has got Power of Evil covered. Dashes forward to the Relentless Pursuit and puts some damage down onto Power of Evil. He had such a great performance in the previous game.
Up in the top lane, Expect placed a very early ward in case like a level 2 Sejuani gank would happen. If Alfari saw that, they might be able to time the ward here and know exactly when it runs out, allowing Maxwell then to gank. He's right now all the way in the river. Clearly they did not see this ward get placed. Ooh, did he sneak out of it? He was just turning around the corner. Okay, they definitely know it's there.
But now the ward from Perks as well, covering the river too. Maxwell will be spotted out, which means that Expect is very aware of the possible invades, while Trick makes his way down to the bottom lane. Overextension slightly. But Misfits, they disengage. So no early pressure coming out from either junglers so far.
Oh, nothing just yet, just showing face in the lanes. Alfari shoving Expect all the way in as is expected, Renekton into Cho'Gath.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you need this Renekton to get ahead. You have great setup with Sejuani to camp that lane. They're even looking for a potential tower dive. Power of Evil, he's on the way. He's spotted here on the ward. Expect staying under his turret for now.
They support though. Trick and Perks making their way. Maxwell did not flash with the Arctic Assault. Instead, Expect backed away. He respected the ability and obviously that vision helping out. A little bit of shenanigans here as Power of Evil finds Perks. The attack and dissonance trading back and forth. A little bit of movement speed buff. Command attack goes up. Power of Evil winning this trade.
Level 4 Power of Evil. Remember how valuable the early points and skills are when you only have base values. The fact that Power of Evil can put a second point in his queue means that he will always win out on these very early skirmishes against Perks, especially with that additional bit of movement speed from the river to avoid those queues. So smart from Power of Evil to recognize he can win out on those trades.
Trick is around though, not spotted by any wards.
Flash for flash. Trick once again with the early gank. Talking about Trick, he did that in game 1 of the series on that Jarvan. all playoffs. The trick that won back-to-back MVPs last year was showing up, reading his opponents, playing well, and really just showing what his ceiling looks like when he plays at his best.
It's a tendency we often see from Trick. Yes, he has a few bad performances here and there, but when it really matters, he often steps up. And it's usually around helping his mid laners succeed. Back at MSI, during these playoffs, we've always seen him come to fruition when G2 needed him, and so far he has helped his team achieve that 2-0 and is one game away from securing the summer final.
And we're seeing now on the screen here, Alfari just pushing Expect to the tower over and over, trying to win on CS. Misfits, while they would love to kill Expect already, might have to wait for some level 6s to come in and then go for another tower dive against him. But you take the CS lead, and then soon you try and go up there and actually kill the Cho'Gath.
Oh, such great combinations there from Alfari. Plus 10. Doing really, really well. Hans Summer and Ignon not yet able to take control of this Kog'Maw Morgana lane that they're facing off into.
No, but you gotta keep in mind, both AD carries in early laning phase just want to farm.
Yep.
Like they don't have that much damage at this point. You really need to stack more raw AD on Draven for him to really hit hard. And obviously for Sven, it's all about trading with W.
All right, Mithy's gonna get the Black Shield down. Sven, Bioarcane Barrage, barking his way until he can bite back. Doesn't yet have a lot of damage. That was so lame, sorry.
Just really want to echo that sentiment there from Deficio. The fact that it's the empowered auto types. You can see when Hans Summer is spinning his axes, that's where the true damage comes from. And he can be a little bit predictable as Shockwave comes out mid. Dash is unavailable.
All right, Maxwell's got the flash available, doesn't jump in. Manages to get some damage onto Perkz, but he's able to E away to safety. And no kill yet, no first blood in Game 3 of the Summer Finals.
But this is what we talked about, Maxwell being forced to babysit around the middle lane. Yes, Perkz wasn't quite having the same level of pressure, but he's still making sure that Power of Evil, who has no summoner spells, is kept safe and healthy. Look at the vision that's invested around some of the entrances. It means that he's not trying to snowball this Renekton in the top lane, even though he's getting a pretty healthy lead.
Again, he's waiting for his level 6, so he can start going for that tower dive, as we mentioned. Knowing that Cho'Gath is, at this point, a little bit too tanky to just die without a ton of chain CC on the way. Power of Evil winning the mid lane as well in terms of his CS. Won some good early trades against Perkz, and he's not really too afraid of the Lucian at this point.
No, came out advantageous from that early roam as well. Good damage onto Perkz, zoning him away. Early Bramble Vest picked up by Expect, so it'll do very well into Alfari and Hans Summer. And if Power of Evil decides to go for his Wit's End build, Nash's Toother build, sorry, again, even Power of Evil will take some damage from that Thornmail. More than usual anyway.
Just as a quick thing, for any Orianna players at home, Morello into Zhonya's, or just rushing the arm guard at the very least against the Lucian is extremely valuable, especially in the early laning phase, because armor is a great way to just mitigate some of the early pressure that Lucian likes to put down. This is a very personal build from Power of Evil, and it's something that he prefers. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is always the most optimal one.
Yeah, and of course Power of Evil, this is his third final with his third team. Played here with Origin, played here with Unicorns of Love, and is now playing here with Misfits. Will it be his second place? At the very least, Misfits are going to Worlds. They lose here now, they'll take that second seed, but Hans Summer wants to try give Power of Evil a title. A lot of damage back and forth with those spinning axes. Forced to back away, and Sven and Mithy doing a good job.
With his ulti, almost managed to connect and actually stun up the Draven here. Maxlaw is right back towards the top side. Alfari's level 7 is here. He's strong with his ulti. He can tank the tower. Maxlaw wants to get that kill. They waited. They showed some patience. He allowed Alfari to just sit and push the lane. They're forcing Cho'Gath away. The goal here is just to get more damage on tower and deny more experience from the Cho'Gath.
All right, Maxlaw's going to get denied. Spotted out by Perkz. The culling is available. Perkz can decide to chase. Dashes over the wall. Flash away from Maxwell. Flash is still available for Perkz. First blood is available. Flashes. There we go. Piercing light. And more importantly, red buff as well.
Look at the smirk on Perkz' face. He knew exactly where Maxwell was because of the ward that is just to the left of him right now. G2 were prepared for the dive from Misfits. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. The play gets red and now Power of Evil's the target.
Oh, body slam flash was beautiful. Ignor's trying to interrupt, but it's a 2v3. Pulverize comes down.
Nice.
Power of Evil even sidesteps. Gets himself a shockwave. Are they turning this around?
Draven.
Trick and Ignor, they win. It's dead kill as Trick is down. Expect Force to flash. Misfits win a 2v3.
That's the kind of outplay you need when you're down 2-0 in a final. Mithy could not hit anything with his Morgana, so Power of Evil just turn it around and a quick kill on to Trick that used the flash to engage. Great play here in the mid lane for Misfits, and they needed this play so badly.
Misfits take and maintain the lead. Look at the mini-map. Maxwell's coming in from the side. Perks has got no flash. He's stuck around. He's already caught. Kill is secured by Maxlaw.
Vengeance for Maxlaw. You thought that you were taking away my red buff, but you are simply refreshing it for me, Perks. He gets the shutdown in mid, and Misfits are coming back into this game. The early game lead that we wanted to see is starting to come into fruition. But now we need to see them continue the pressure. But let's see how this all kicked off.
First fight up in the top lane. Perks feeling so confident on the Lucian. Nice calling, even hits it when Maxlaw flashes out. And now he's using both summoners to chase this kill. Meaning when he joins the fight in the mid lane, those summoners are now gone. So this is the engage from G2 here.
And this is what we were praising Trick for, his engage, his setup, but he had no further mana. Mithy couldn't land any of his abilities because Ignor was just playing spoiler. Power of Evil plays the fight well, patiently, and then when they see the opportunity for a turnaround, they go for it.
Mid laners in EU dodging skill shots, man. Yesterday, today, Power of Evil gets out. It's not done yet because this was Perks getting dove.
And this is just a three-man collapse. Roaming Ignor is best. Ignor pairs that up with Maxlaw. They know full well that there is no summoner spells available for Perks, and they get the shutdown once more onto the mid lane Lucian. And now, look at that CS differential, quick shot.
Currently also 270 stacks on Hansama's Draven in the bottom lane. It is a classic Draven start of going 0-0. Farm, cash in, 1 kill, and suddenly you have 2 items to the enemy's 1.
Gentlemen, I challenge you both to see how much gold he cashes in if and when that kill is secured.
Challenge accepted, quick shot.
For Hansama. And we'll see whether or not Alphari's Renekton can also start to take off. He's got plus 20 CS. Mid lane, plus 25 CS. It's a 1,300 gold lead for the team comp that is meant to be ahead in the early game. That is very crucial.
And a team comp that can really shut down a Lucian. Again, the Lucian is picked to win lane. He didn't really do it last game, but then he had such a strong team comp around him that could just set him up for success in team fights. Misfits are now bringing a strong team fighting comp of their own. It's not this one-shot Ringguard thing that did not work at all. It's strong front line, and then it's a very strong Orianna and Draven backline combo. So it will not be as easy for Perks to get back in this game like we saw before.
Hansama doing so well, connecting with those spinning axes. Managed to tag Sven with a stand aside. Let's see what sort of setup continues to play. Ignor can tower dive with that ultimate, but Hansama does not want to stick around in the Soul Shackles while all that's going on. Misfits pushing into G2's jungle in the top left quadrant.
Taking advantage of the strong Renekton and the Power of Evil Orianna that has a pretty significant lead over his opposition. Still tries to come out, gonna be denied by Misfits, and Power of Evil walks away with the blue.
And right now we're also waiting for Alphari to get his Black Cleaver so he can actually shred some armor against Expect up in that top lane. Then Maxlaw can once again visit the top side, win that 2v2. Alphari has been controlling the lane, winning in CS. Power of Evil winning CS as well in the mid lane. It's only really Sven who's going even with the counterpart.
And Hansama, by the way, that counterpart, 330 stacks on that Draven. Continuing to scale up.
You can feel the tension building. The crowd is already heavily in support of Hansama. And the moment he gets that cash in, I'm just waiting for the crowd to erupt in elation. As Misfits, they currently hold the lead and they're going to get first tower.
Oh man, this tower's going to drop. Perks can do nothing to stop it. No culling available. Power of Evil continues to extend the lead. Plus 30 CS at this point. And it's a gold lead continuing to get bigger.
Expect once again under his tower. Maxlaw once again around the top lane. Let's see if we can get a reaction from G2. Sending the bottom lane up here to try and help the Cho'Gath.
They're going to have to send more Deficio because Misfits' army is on the way. Power of Evil and Ignor coming in from the side. Great Dark Binding prevents any follow-up. Mithy with 1 spell. The culling is body blocked by Ignor for a few shots, but the tower is potentially at risk. No one is there, nor are the minions, so G2 defends.
But all the G2 towers are at risk right now because Hansama is winning on his side and just constantly pushing in. On the top side, we know the Renekton is going to win against the Cho'Gath still, so at the moment, Misfits are looking at one of those games where you might just cash in all 3 outer turrets.
All right, gentlemen, Death Dawn's picked up for Hansama, Rod of Ages for Power Reveal, and Alfari Black Cleaver. Is that the expected first item? As
Yes,
obviously
it is.
PoE's going Nashes as well.
Well, when you're against someone who's stacking a ton of armor, rushing the Black Cleaver is perfectly fine. He might also go Blade of the Ruined King second. We've seen that from Renekton when you're just sticking to that side lane and trying to win the side lane.
It's a matter of how Misfits want to play these next few fights, because the person that you've always got to be mindful of is Sven on this Kog'Maw in 5v5. He's going to be a big threat, as he always has been throughout this series. And while a Draven, you do build a lot of AD and you will do a lot of damage, he's still got to find ways of shredding through these tanks. And the one thing we know about Kog'Maw is he does a pretty good job of that.
Oh, that's definitely the case, especially as the game continues to play out. It's still a big lead for Misfits. They're 15-8 when ahead at 15 minutes. And let's see if they can actually take the first game in the finals.
Yeah, and they're in such a good spot at the moment because the very first item, the Rage Blade for Sven, is super expensive. He didn't even get it when he returned to base here. He's just sitting on the components at the moment. He's very weak at this stage of the game, so getting top lane tower is easy. They should actually be able to get an Ocean Drake as well after if they want to play around it. G2 trying something.
2v3 once again. This time it's Maxwell and Power of Evil. The explosive cask has bounced out. Maxwell as the target. Shockwave catches 2. Mithy is going to flash over it. Maxwell stays alive a few seconds longer until Perkz takes him down. This time round, G2 get the kill. Alfari's got caught up by too many members. The Dark Binding takes him out. There's no Shockwave because it's already been used. Alfari's dropped. Dominus wasn't enough. All of a sudden, Ignor's rejoined the fight. Perkz is running low on mana and he dashes over the wall. But Misfits got the tower in the top lane.
Very questionable decision making regardless. Misfits try to force a fight 2 versus 3. The entire team of G2 were in the bottom side of the map. And when you have your Draven top side, there's no way that Misfits is going to be able to send that many members to be able to win out on that exchange.
Yeah, Misfits just gave G2 away back in this game here, guaranteeing them suddenly some kills on the Lucian, just like last game that actually lost its lane, but are then getting gifted some very easy kills to get some gold and rush towards his Black Cleaver as the second item. So suddenly Perkz finding his way back in this game here, and Rage Blade now completed for Sven as well. So Max Lore, I'm not sure if he's expecting the rest of G2 to return to the top side and trying to defend, seeing as he just dives over, because there's not a lot of vision on the bottom side from Misfits.
The only thing I can think of is maybe he wanted Alfari to TP in, but Alfari was forced to leave his tower. There was a Cho'Gath there as well. Like, I don't know. I can't truly understand the decision making there from Max.
One of those situations where they do not have the full vision that we have.
Of course.
They are operating under maybe some wrong information, and then they end up making the wrong call.
All right, while we're in the replay, Dragon fell at 17 minutes and 18 seconds. Hansama's going to get chunked down, support from the rest of Misfits. I just want to confirm something, that during week 11, Misfits versus UOL, a game ended with no Dragon killed, but Baron secured, and it was Misfits against Unicorn. So it has happened in EU before. It was confirmed it did not happen in NA. Perkz was the target of an engage from Misfits. The Shockwave unable to kill him. On the back end, Expect gets stunned up. He's getting chunked down by Power of Evil with that Nash's tooth. Is knocked backwards. Not yet killed. Hansama not going to find the kill. Alfari takes him down. That's the third for Misfits. And Alfari gets his first of the game.
That looked like a dangerous fight for Misfits, especially when Maxlow goes in, gets knocked back by G2, and he's left up a creek without a paddle because he doesn't have any way of escaping a real follow-up, but then Ignor comes to save the day. Misfits the TP immediately from Alfari, allows them to have the numbers advantage and get the collapse down onto Expect. They get the kill, but they do not translate that into any towers.
Kill for a teleport is often not a trait you're looking for, but they got a lot of damage in the mid lane as well. Perkz got to kill some of the minions at least. Was taken very low for it.
Imagine if he had more AP instead of a Nash's tooth. Would that have been a one-shot?
Let's not forget that Nash's tooth still gives you 80 AP, so it is still a fair chunk. It's not like he's just weak in terms of his abilities because of Nash's 2.
I mean, one of the bigger problems you could argue is that by going for the early Rod of Ages, yes, you lose some of that early burst, but regardless, the key thing that we have to take away here is that Misfits, they took a bit of a gamble. They tried to force a fight onto Perks rather than just focusing down the towers. They end up getting nothing. They do get a fair amount of damage on both top and mid, but Expect has the TP advantage. Baron is spawning in about 30 seconds, and while they don't necessarily have to make the Baron play, knowing that you have that advantage is something that G2 can still look to play around.
We're getting that Blade of the Rune King as well from Alfari, just trying to commit to winning the bottom lane. If the rest of his team, the 4-man group, with support, AD carry, mid, and jungle, can actually push in the mid lane, which they should be able to at this point with the Draven, who's fairly farmed, and with 2 items on Orianna, then it allows Alfari to play super aggressive in the 1v1 in the bottom lane. And suddenly Misfits have 2 winning lanes that should give them full control of the river, which eventually will mean Nashor.
And Baron Nashor will then mean the game for Misfits. That's what they're looking for. 2 items slowly creeping in. Sven's had that Rage Blade for a little while.
Oh, they're going to try and kill Expect here.
All right, Tower Dive is option. Feast is on cooldown for Expect, and Alfari and Maxlaw. There goes the Arctic Assault, slice in. Rupture gets the knock-up. I think Alfari sidestepped it, in fact. Maxwell's tanking up a lot of the turret shots. He's now going to trade. Dark Binding will buy some time. Expect is able to survive for now.
And really beautifully played by Mithy, walking in with the Black Shield, enough to mitigate the CC, and then using the Dark Binding as well.
It's on its way.
Caught Morgana.
Oh.
Gonna hit, gonna get bounced back. No kill going in favor of Misfits, but they force him back, and now Sven, he's in the bottom lane. Handsummer, he's hanging up around the Baron area, but again, not going to be forced by the team for the time being. So Misfits, they try to make a play, and they don't really get anything out from it except for the exhaust from Mithy.
540 stacks on this Draven.
Oh.
He's just waiting for 1 kill to cash it all in, and then he
it's
can
money,
actually
money,
be
money.
powerful. Exactly. He needs to kill though, Betty.
He needs the kill. And if he dies, he loses a lot of stacks. It's a high-risk investment.
What's the opposite of money, money, money then?
Debt.
Debt.
That's a new song, I guess.
It's not quite as exciting, which is why there's not many songs about it. But Misfits are still in the lead. It is still a 2,000 gold advantage. Vision is not the deepest for Misfits, so they've still got to break through that bottom outer turret. And Deficio has talked about how those side lane pressure can unlock Baron. Baron has been such a pivotal objective throughout this entire series. We've seen the dance, we've seen the fights, and we'll see what happens this game.
Maxlaw is again hovering bottom side, and Mithy is again reacting by instantly moving down to apply some support in case the same tower dive appears. 2 items now on Svenja. He's getting further into the late game on this Cogmore.
Just want to take a very small opportunity to talk about how Handsummer, just watch how he juggles 3 axes, because it's actually very, very impressive how what he'll do is he'll have 2 stacked, and you can see it now. He's always got 2 underneath his belt, and there'll always be 1 in the air. If he does it in team fights, it's a lot of damage.
Well, let's find out. Trick is going to throw the barrel out. There's support from Misfits coming up. Handsummer needs to buy time. He gets caught out. Flashes to the side. Now Ignar throws down the Unbreakable Will. It's G2 that are now surrounded. Sven's making his way up from the south, and Misfits looking for the engage. G2 are split up. Defensive dash from Alfari and Flash. Perks is the target as Misfits are running him down. Sven has killed Alfari.
Give him
Perks
a stack.
stays alive. He dashes forward. Kill secured by Maxlaw. So far, it's a 1 for 1 in favor of G2.
And Draven did not get the kill yet. Maxlaw ended up taking it in that 4v1, but of course they lost Renekton because he got binded by Mithy, I think, again.
And I also think that just the coordination in a lot of these fights seems a little bit off, because Misfits, they were the ones coming in for the collapse of G2, but then Perks walked away from his team while the rest of them just grouped up, and this forced Misfits to split up, allowing G2 to just force the collapse down onto Alfari. That got them the kill, and they're starting to make life difficult for this Renekton.
And if Handsummer can actually go back next time and get an Infinity Edge, he suddenly will start dealing a ton of damage with the crits. He already sits with the rapid fire cannon. Fight again. Nice TP from Expect all the way here behind Misfits. So it's forcing Handsummer to play defensive and leave the team fights. He's no longer there. He's actually not part of the fight at the moment. It's just 4v5. And then that's also why the rest of Misfits can't really dive further.
Yeah, you can see just how the focus from Misfits seems to be divided. Some of them want to go onto the 4-man unit of G2, while the others want to go on to Perks. And while they were making that decision, Alfari was just slowly being chunked down. They decide to go for the collapse, but now The Misfits team, they're actually starting off the Baron.
All right, what does that mean? Misfits have peeled away. Shockwave onto Perks.
They got Perks!
Cash
They
in!
got Perks! That was the cash! How much money did he make? Someone find out! Expect is now the target as Misfits and all of Paris are celebrating! It's a double kill for Hans Sama! Happy birthday, buddy! What do Misfits do with it?
And Misfits, they finally win a big fight against G2. They catch the mid laner off guard. Perks ends up dropping. Deficio, give us the big number.
He managed to get 1,348 gold from just his passive, adding the 300 from the kill as well for this
Money,
Draven.
money, money!
And he's going right back, fully completing his last Whisper with all the gold he just got from these kills.
4,000 gold in the lead. And let's keep our eyes on Hans Sama as he picks up his first kill on Draven.
So Ignor with the flank onto Perks. He gets CC'd and the follow-up combo from Misfits is enough to get the obliteration. Mithy is off on the flank and he can't really provide any utility. And Ignor just zones away the rest of the team. This Alistar pick is proving huge in this series.
Yeah, again, Ignor's now doing what Mithy just did to Misfits in 2 of the games. He's constantly stopping the carries from dealing damage. He's finding flank engages. Alistar showing up big time.
Oh, let's see what Ignor can do to help out the rest of the squad. Misfits now started off Baron, pulled G2 towards them once again, but peeled away. While Hans Sama didn't deal the most damage of the team fight, it was the crucial last ticks of damage. Got him the double kill, got him the big cash out, and it got him Lord Dominic's regards.
Also important to highlight that Mithy is delaying his Ardent Sensor a lot. He valued getting mobility and getting wards in the early game. So Sven is not at this point yet where he's getting buffed by an Ardent Sensor. He has like 3 or 4 items on his own and he can start literally shredding tanks. He still needs quite some time before he's actually killing Maxlaw or Alfari.
And that's what Misfits need to bank on, Deficio. It's a 4,000 gold lead.
But the Ardent Sensor is there soon from Mithy. You can see the items right there. Misfits, 4,000 gold lead. Still looking to force another fight.
Deficio, that's great. Earn Sensor, love it. Really good stuff on G2, but this guy's playing Draven. He brought it out at the clutch moment. They are 2-0 down. Hans Sama goes back for comfort, and he is 2-0-2 on one of his best, or one of his most comfortable champions, I should say. And now, Misfits, they have the lead. They're the ones setting up around the Baron. And Misfits are in a position to keep the tradition of G2 going.
And the tradition being G2 win 3-1 in finals. That was what they were talking about. There's never been a 3-0 in EU LCS. Let's find out if that will change, whether or not G2 can dig deep, because like we said, it's all about Misfits. They can play the side lanes. Once again, Hans Sama is top. Alfari has teleport. He can go bottom with that Blade of the Rune King and Black Cleaver and try to put pressure and expect that tower in the bottom lane still standing.
Well, last time Misfits found a path through the jungle that was not warded by G2. That's why Ignor actually came in behind Perksy and surprised him. There are a few defensive ward plays now by G2 side to try and spot this Alistar. Flashes are available as well. Misfits should look to play around Baron and just use it as a tool to engage. Start the Baron, force G2 to react, and then engage onto them.
We've got to give some props here to Power of Evil as well. 0-0-6 on his Orianna, up 60 CS. Got himself that Void Staff in. His Shockwaves this game have felt much more impactful. Helps the team has got a few more damage sources that are working out as well. That's what needs to happen for Misfits to pick up this win.
Now what I'd like to see from Misfits is just starting the Baron to get the TP out from Expect so they can then send Alfari off to the side lane. They will take this down relatively quickly, but here comes the answer from G2.
All right, Baron's down to 50%. Expect not teleporting yet. Now starts to channel. A Trick can come in for the 50-50 as the culling goes between the uprights until the last few ticks. Alfari gets chunked down low and Trick is now being tagged. Expect becomes the target. Ignor is trying to zone out somebody. Trick will drop. Hans Sama cashes out again. Ignor gets a 2-man knockup. Perks flashes away from the Shockwave. Hans Sama's looking to run him down. Sven is spitting out the damage for days.
Oh, look at
Flashes
Sven!
forward. Got the Hurricane. Expect looking to feast. Power of Evil gets summoned a heal. No stun yet. Sven is not going to be able to get another. Hans Sama dodges. It's Expect that goes down. Finally, Sven snipes him. It's a 2-4-1.
Such a close team fight between both teams. Sven coming up huge in the final team fight, even though initially everything was going in favor of Misfits. Ignor now just trying to run for his life as Sven is on the chase.
There was a reason we had to highlight this Sven player here. champion, whatever. He's late game carry potential with Ardent Sensor. Alistar will take some more damage, will also die, and give another kill over to Sven here. Ardent Sensor was completed. 3 items are now sitting on Sven here. He is a massive threat.
And is the threat big enough to win the series? G2, they are now starting Baron. Max Law, no smite available, it's on cooldown. Perks and Sven with Mountain Drake and smite in their back pocket. Max Law has become available. This could become a smite fight. Let's see how this plays out.
Oh, this is super tense. Will it be decided on this single Baron play?
Shockwave and Smite is available to Misfits if they go for the burst. Max Law, Arctic Assault needs to be good. Baron is still being held by Trick. Expect has joined the fight. Baron's going low. Shockwave won't be enough, and it's not secured. G2 take it down. Misfits now falling, now getting crushed. Hans Summer needs to do something magical, but he cannot, and Misfits are crushed.
G2 find the return in the fight. It all starts with Sven. He is the one that turns it around earlier on. They get the kill onto Ignar, and G2 immediately go back to the Baron. They play it patiently. They wait for Misfits to overcommit, and when they see the opportunity, they go for it. Now with the Baron, now with 5 members, they're looking to break into the base.
Man, Mythy, Sven, the rest of G2, they're now in the lead in gold. They're breaking open the base. They've got Baron-empowered minions, and they've got super minions down the mid lane. G2 on the verge of their 4th consecutive title, the first EU LCS 3-0, and the first LCS team.
Oh, they stopped 2 people. Ignite's actually behind him.
Oh, what does this mean? Trick is now being run down. Hans Summer with red buff, trying to get a few more kills. Got those spinning axes. Unbreakable Will used by Ignar. Soul Shackles will buy just a few seconds of time. Hans Summer continues to chase. 3-1-1 with some blood rush, and the Tick sidesteps away, gets himself another kill. This is a momentary respite here for Misfits.
Well, there is a Drake alive, and there is a tower in the bottom lane they can go kill as well to just get something back here. Look to be just pushing down the mid lane for now.
Remember how low that mid lane tower is after the shenanigans that happened about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Should be an easy pickup.
Give it to the Drake.
Is there enough to take the inhibitor tower, though? That's what we got to find out. Misfits now playing into Baron-empowered minions. Look at Perks in the top lane.
So there's only 3 people defending at the moment against 5 from Misfits.
But they're not going to commit to Fischio. Misfits decide to back away. Alfari makes his way down, and Perks will secure the 5th tower of the game for G2. Oh, just a slow down in game. Check out this replay brought to you by Ace of Predator.
Let's see how both teams are fighting here. Like, Draven wants to just hit the first tank in front of him, and he can do that in this fight here. But the same happens here for Sven. He also just wants to hit the tank right in front of him. So when Trick goes in, it's a good ulti first, but he gets CC'd, and now it's very easy for Draven to kill him. Look at Sven though. As soon as Ignar's ulti runs out, he will actually start dealing proper damage to this front line. And whoever steps in, he's just hitting 2 or 3 of them at the same time.
Sven just melts through the entire team of Misfits. Expect is happy to follow up with the ulti. And you think here, oh, maybe Hans Summer can get an outplay because Misfits were able to get the kill onto Expect, but Perks, he's too healthy. He has the support from Mythy, and everything just falls apart for Misfits.
So this is the Baron setup here, making sure that Maxwell couldn't go in for the 50-50. Cho'Gath was not there yet, so they end up actually just jumping out to kill someone.
And I feel like the big thing here for Misfits is they tried too hard to make something happen. They should have just been more patient. They should have waited on the other side and tried to go for the 50-50, but they tried to come in from the fight from the flank. They're only 4 members, and with Expect returning, they end up losing the Baron.
As we jump out of the replay, Misfits are under siege in the top lane. They're down 2,000 gold, and it's a 5v5, but Perks has just made his way up. Gets some damage down from Hans Summer. The culling fired from behind the walls, forces Ignar to flash defensively. Yeah, it's a body slam flash engage from Trick. He's got no cask available, but the tower falls. Maxwell will be dropping. Silence onto Hans Summer. Running for his life. It's Trick that takes him down. Power of Evil caught up with the Dark Binding, and Sven gets himself a double kill. G2 eSports are on the verge of winning yet another final. There is nothing standing in their way. Alfari and Ignar have to go 2v5, and there simply is not enough damage, not enough frontline, and not enough chances. The undisputed best team in Europe, G2 eSports, get themselves another kill, and for the first time in history, the 4th consecutive EU LCS title. G2 eSports are the best team in Europe. LCS team has done it at 4 titles. G2 are 1 win away from toppling the old legacy. And there is no doubt that they are the best franchise consecutively for 2 years.
They've dominated Europe for 2 years, and it's important we celebrate greatness here. The fact that these guys can do it every single split is fantastic. They adapt to every meta, they outperform every team they're facing, and they're always winning in playoffs. That's the most important thing.
G2 eSports have continued to just show their dominance. They will be representing Europe as the #1 seed.
Mesdames et messieurs, vos champions d'été des LCS EU 2017, G2 eSports.
The smiles, the elation, the first ever 3-0 in EU LCS history. 4 titles back to back. The owner Ocelot, Carlos on stage celebrating alongside Young Buck. And what a legacy they have built here in Europe. Love them or hate them, you can't deny their success.
And Misfits, in the final game, they put up a very strong fight. They made Misfits work, or they made G2 rather work for it. And I feel like Misfits, they can still be happy with the amount of growth and effort that they put into this, because this was a very competitive final right at the end.
The 1-year plan, mission accomplished. 4th in spring, 2nd in summer. The #2 seed representing Europe in China. Still room to grow for the Misfits squad, but today it's all about perks. It's all about G2 eSports. What about some redemption here for Trick as well, man?
Yeah.
Oft criticized.
I mean, one of the players who's been criticized the most in Europe here the last year ends up performing so well in playoffs when it really matters.
Expect one of the unsung heroes. Reliable, constant, consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, that man on your screen, Sven, did not die a single time in the Summer Split finals.
There is a reason Sven makes every single final. There is a reason he's one of the main carries on every single team he's ever played on. He is just the best AD carry.
And there's a reason he's able to survive with the rest of the team. Miffy unlocking Sven's potential. Deficio, are Sven and Miffy the best bot lane in the West right now?
This is a European broadcast, so yes.
I will accept it. Walk of honor. Paris has been amazing. The chance for G2, the support for everybody, the celebration of the wins.
I mean, this is something G2 as well been working hard for. This is a team that obviously didn't always have a lot of support behind them, but here in Paris, the French crowd is so fantastic. They, of course, are now giving them a massive standing ovation.
What an experience that has to be for G2. The dynasty is true. Mithy said that coming into the finals, he wanted to leave a legacy behind. And he has certainly left a very impressive performance. And G2, they can only go forward from here.
Yes.
Things are looking so good for them as the World Championship is just around the corner.
Yesterday, Fnatic won, the current record holder with 5 EU LCS titles. Today, G2 holds 4 of them. Did something Fnatic never did. They won 4 in a row. Next spring, G2 have the shot of equaling the record. In Deficio, G2 eSports, it's been a long time since G2 and 8 of last year. 2nd place MSI this year, and they've got another shot. Their boot camp is already booked for Worlds.
Exactly, like the players will leave almost instantly to start practicing for the World Championships, and it's of course important to highlight they will have a Pool 1 seed at Worlds, because these guys made top 4, even top 2 at MSI, guaranteed their own Pool 1 seed, and now they grab it for themselves.
Yeah, earned that seed, earned some redemption on the international stage. The Worlds Group Draw, I believe, is September 12th at, I think, 2 p.m. Central European Summertime. Double check LOLesports.com for the
The
specifics.
date is correct. I'm not sure about the time, but the date is correct.
I believe it's very early LA time. And we need to see who G2 Esports get drawn into. You can see the support, the coaches, the owner discussing what it means to have yet another title.
And right now we are just setting up to hear from some of the superstar players on G2, from Perks and Sven. During the playoffs, these are two of the performers that really did step up for the team. Perks especially in that series versus Splice to get them out of the quarterfinals. And now we get that opportunity to hear from them once more.
Superstar players, as well as superstar teamwork. As you can see, Law setting up on stage with Sven and Perks as they get ready to celebrate what is just a phenomenal